Mandy, thank you. The president has now laid out his executive orders to try and prevent more deaths from firearms. Among other effects, the orders would expand the number of gun buyers who are subject to criminal background checks. He also announced plans to hire more personnel to process those background checks, directed officials to conduct more gun research, improving gun safety, generally speaking, encourage more domestic violence prosecution, and he ordered better tracking of lost guns. President Obama showing a lot of emotion while speaking about the shootings a few years back in Newtown, Connecticut.
First graders. Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
Talk over whether or not there needs to be more regulation on guns continues to push gun stocks higher. Shares of the gun maker Smith & Wesson trading up nearly 11% today. Let's bring in Andrea James, an analyst with Doherty & Company. Ms. James, welcome. Good to have you back with us.
Thank you.
These kinds of responses to pushes, whether from the executive branch or elsewhere by state, for stricter gun registration rules, I use that term very broadly, typically result in a pop in the stock's prices. Are those pops sustainable?
Well, yeah, I think Smith & Wesson stock in particular is up today because Smith & Wesson raised its guidance. They're seeing stronger sales of guns in the December quarter. And also the FBI's tracking of background checks showed that, there were a record number of people who went out and bought a firearm in the month of December. So I think that's what the pop is due to today. Of course, calls for more gun control do lead to buying spikes. Let's just play a what if. What if all of the president's actions take effect? What if they are not overturned by Congress or the courts? What would that mean to gun sales and specifically to Sturm Ruger and Smith & Wesson? Well, I took a look at some of what Obama was saying this morning, and it's not clear how all of it is going to be enforceable, but it looks like there's two main components, one of which is making sure that federal firearms license holders, these are the ones who sell the guns. They have to be registered no matter how many guns they sell. So it sounds like it's going to force a lot more private transactions into a larger shop. I don't think that will have a material effect on sales. The other thing has to do with cleaning up the background check process. Now, this is something that the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is the leading firearm industry lobbyist, has actually been lobbying for a long time. So the gun industry does want stronger background checks when it comes to cleaning up that FBI data and making sure that that person buying a firearm has every right to be buying one and isn't convicted of a crime, because it doesn't help the firearms industry, obviously, when guns fall into the wrong hands.
Let me ask very quickly, even though I'm just told I have to go. The lobbying group that you just mentioned represents whom? The gun manufacturers as compared with the National Rifle Association, which represents gun owners and is staunchly opposed to that kind of registration, as I understand it.
That's right. They're two different bodies, and they agree on a lot of things, and I don't want to speak for them, but generally the way I look at it is that the NSSF represents behind the counter, meaning the gun manufacturers and the sellers, and then the NRA represents the gun buyer in front of the counter, that individual citizen who, and they protect Second Amendment rights, and the individual citizen who wants to go out and buy a firearm.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrea James of Doherty & Company. We appreciate, as always, your being with us. Well, they say all real estate is local. Coming up, we're going to look at two cities with very drastically different real estate markets right now. Robert Frank is watching Manhattan.
Tyler, Manhattan broke 3 new records in the fourth quarter, including the most expensive average sale price ever.